7th. Yes, I am taking my meds, she said. I may be crazy, but I am not stupid. But was she taking them? Things had been getting worse. Her nightmares growing in frequency and intensity. Don't say that about yourself, John. I don't think you're crazy. You also do not think you are handsome, John said. This proves your judgment is questionable. The zip of a pant zipper told him it was okay to look her way again. She was pulling on a Hawaiian shirt, lime green with yellow azaleas, over her sweat-stained white t-shirt. Heavy black hair still hung wetly in front of her face, but through that hair he could see the dark rings under her bloodshot, haunted eyes. She walked to her bizarre computer desk, sat down, and switched on the power. 7 flat-panel monitors flared, coating her in a whitish glare. The setup surrounded her in a semicircle of screens. 3 down at desk level, the side monitors angled in. 4 monitors in the row above that, slanted down and around her, so she actually had to turn her head from left to right to see them all. Colding put the medicine bottle back and walked over to the computer station. All 7 screens showed flowing strings of the letters A, G, T, and C. Sometimes the letters themselves were in different colors. Sometimes bright hues lit up the long strings, sometimes both. To Colding, it looked like multicolored digital puke. The immune response was the hurdle that the scientific trinity of Junata's geniuses, Klaus Ruhmkorff, Erika Hohl, and John, simply couldn't surpass. It was the last big theoretical hurdle that stood between Junata and saving hundreds of thousands of lives every year. Now that John was awake, she'd prep for the test. Or, more likely, prep for yet another failure and the resultant wrath of Dr. Klaus Ruhmkorff. You need anything? Colding asked. John shook her head, her attention already fixed on one of the big monitors. Colding knew from experience that she probably wouldn't register another word he said. Without looking away from the scrolling letters, John opened a small dorm room fridge that sat under her desk and pulled out a bottle of Dr. Pepper. Her hand shook a little as she opened it and took a long drink. Well, I guess I'm off to bed, Colding said. Holler if you need anything, okay? John grunted, but Colding didn't know if it was a reaction to him or to a piece of data. He'd almost made it out of the room when she stopped him. Mr. Colding. He turned. John pointed to one of the computer screens. I see the date is November 7th, she said. I am sorry. I wish I had known her. Tears welled up instantly. He swallowed against the knot in his throat, clenched his teeth against the pain in his chest. Thank you, he said. John nodded, then turned back to her multi-monitor array. Colding left before she could see him cry. 3 years to the day since Clarissa had died. Sometimes it seemed like a tick of the clock, like he'd kissed her just yesterday. Other times, he had trouble remembering what she looked like, as if he'd never really known her at all. And at all times, though, every minute of every day, the ache of her absence hung on him like an anchor. He pretended to cough, giving him an excuse to wipe at his eyes in case Gunther was watching him in the hall cams. Colding walked toward his room. The research facility still reminded him of a high school building. Cinder block walls painted a neutral gray, speckled tile floor, fire extinguishers paired with fire axes in each hall. There were even little handles with the words "Pull Here" mounted shoulder high, although those weren't for the fire alarm. They would close the airlocks tight in case of any viral contamination. Colding reached his room and shut himself inside. All secure, Gun. I like the part where she said she's not stupid, Gunther said. The understatement of the century. Tell me about it. Go back to bed, boss. I'll keep an eye on her. Colding nodded, even though he was alone in his room. No way he'd get back to sleep. Not today. Besides, Jean's dreams were getting worse. The last 2 times that had happened, she'd started hallucinating a few weeks later, then finally tried to kill herself. For her most recent attempt, she'd locked herself in a bathroom and filled it with nitrogen gas. Her assistant, Tim Feely, realized what she was doing and called for help. Colding had broken in far ahead of the proverbial nick of time, but how close she came to success wasn't the point. The pattern was the thing. Nightmares, then hallucinations, then a suicide attempt. Doc Ruhmkorff had already adjusted John's meds, but who knew if that would work? Colding had to report this. Klaus Ruhmkorff was brilliant. Erika Hohl was a legend. But without Liu Jiandan, the project simply ceased to exist. There you go.